Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Inside the Video Store. Thank you for joining me. We've had a fun afternoon at Snips Movies on this last Wednesday in April. We've had a couple of guys here filming a little documentary, which has been great fun. So thanks very much to Matt, to Oscar and to Nathan for having such a great setup and asking some really interesting questions about digital versus analog. Really cool stuff. Hopefully Matt, the director, should be putting some of that on YouTube soon, maybe, but we shall see. Either way, it will be a great documentary. And also, coincidentally, Jake, who has filmed another documentary, which is slightly thematically different to Matt's. He brought in his final cut on Saturday, and it's a great piece of work. It's very personal, and it was kind of a bit unusual watching something so personal, but it was so well made. And Jake went for a different spin on the whole Snips mythos, and I think he did a really good job. So I look forward to that coming onto YouTube as well. Hopefully Jake might let me upload a version onto this channel. So if it does come up here, just keep an eye out. Make sure you're subscribed so you get the notification that it's up there. In other news, it's a warm week in Wirral. Very warm day today, cooling for the weekend, thankfully. But still, people are renting movies, which is really great to see. Also, you might want to check out my spot on Radio Merseyside on the BBC, which is airing Thursday the 1st of May at 2:30 p.m. You'll find the link below this video and also on the Snips Movies Facebook page and Instagram page as well. Let's crack on with the show, because there is a lot to get through. It's the final week of the month, isn't it? And so it has been an absolute deluge of physical media this week, both in terms of new releases that have come out and also with what's in the box with some new arrivals that have been coming in. It has been a little bit crazy, to be honest, which is great. Again, all last week's mass of physical media all fitted into place on the shelves. Shelves slightly bowed, but great, really happy. And again, this will be a challenge to fit on the shelves, but I can't wait to get them out and to get them renting in people's hands, because there's some really good quality stuff coming this week. So I can't wait to tell you about it. So without further ado, let's have a little look. We're going to tackle the contemporary releases first. This is all the new stuff, the new films, recent films that have been assigned to physical media this week. Two kind of big guns, to be honest. I didn't know if I should separate them in terms of copy depth, but I went for two Blues and a DVD with each one. Probably leading the way is the Bob Dylan film, A Complete Unknown, film by James Mangold, which has Timothy Chalamet playing the iconic Bob Dylan. It's had great reviews. It's really well thought of. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how well that performs, to be honest, because I think it will do very well indeed. Nice to see an audio commentary on the Blu-ray as well by the director, which is a rarity in this day and age. Moving on, we have The Brutalist. The Brutalist. A bit of a brutal running time by all accounts. It is 3 hours and 12 minutes, so strap yourselves in for this one. Kind of lucky I have a week's rental. It might take you a week to get through it. Features, of course, Adrian Brody, Guy Pearce and Felicity Jones. It's directed by Brady Corbett. Multiple Oscar wins, multiple BAFTA wins, so it has got the prizes, but whether or not it's worth your time, you'll have to see, or you'll have to tell me in the comment section. Next up is a film I watched last night, The Coffee Table, which is out this week from Second Sight. Spanish language film. It was advertised as a dark comedy. let's think of the way we portray the word dark. Let's think of how we consider the meaning of the word dark. Dark isn't strong enough for how dark this is. This goes beyond dark. This goes beyond morbid. This is grim. This was so grim. But it was excellent. It was excellent. It was gripping. But good grief, this was dark. Oof. Try not to read up anything about it if you can. I went into it, all I knew when I went into it is that it was about a couple who buy a coffee table. And I recommend that being all you know when you put this into your Blu-ray player. Couple buy a coffee table. That's all you need to know. The latest in the Third Window line of films is A Samurai in Time, which sounds absolutely fantastic. Yeah, about a samurai who's transported through to the present day. He's mistaken for an extra on a film set, and then becomes a stand-in samurai, which sounds fantastic, very trippy. But that is A Samurai in Time on the Third Window label, who I've got their own little section now, of course. Also went on Blu-ray. This sounds quite terrible, in all honesty. It's called One Ranger. It features Thomas Jane and John Malkovich. Texas justice meets British intelligence. London is about to get a taste of Texas. Doesn't that sound awful? But it's directed by Jesse Johnson, who is one of the best action film directors in the business at the moment, certainly in the English language world. So I have faith in Jesse Johnson. He's made some amazing films, primarily with Scott Adkins. So I have faith that this will be worth a look. That is One Ranger with Thomas Jane. From the guys that brought you Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, they set their sights now on Peter Pan. And we have Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare on Blu-ray. They've role reversed, whereas Rhys Frake Waterfield directed Winnie the Pooh, and Scott Chambers directed. Now Scott Chambers is in the director's chair for this one. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. That is Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. And finally, sticking with the direct-to-video horror, is Gator Creek. Not an asylum movie, but we do love a croc film. And this certainly is one of them. It sounds all right, to be honest. You can't beat a creature feature. That is Gator Creek out this week on DVD. So a nice range of contemporary films. I ordered 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new films, and I think we had seven last week as well, to be honest. So from a few weeks back, well, a few months back, where there were literally 1s and 2s coming in terms of the new release films, now they've really upped their game. They're seeing quite a variety of product coming in, which is great. On to the boutiques. Another great array. What have we got there? 9 boutique releases this week. A couple more, but this was what this is where the budget stretched to. I have it on DVD, I have it on Blu-ray, but it is an iconic film. I had to get it on 4K UHD and Blu-ray once more time. It is this week's addition to the Criterion Collection. It's Arthur Penn's Night Moves, featuring the late great Gene Hackman. Stunning neo-noir, an essential film, and I'm sure in this Criterion edition it looks better than ever. Can't wait to take a look at that. So that's good. Yawning, not very good indeed. A pair of Russ Meyers. Couldn't believe it, but I picked up from Amazon. And actually came packaged in a box of films, but within that box of films, this one was wrapped in a brown bag. It wasn't a brown bag; it was a grey postal bag. But why would you? It's a 40, 50-year-old film. Do you need to wrap it in in plastic, to quote Jack Nance, in order to hide. I mean, it's not even particularly suggestive, to be honest. Well, I mean, okay, maybe the letter U, perhaps, but anyway. But that is up. It's now out and here on 4K UHD, which is awesome, and a Blu-ray as well. And we have an audio commentary here with the film historian Elizabeth Pachel, which is very cool indeed. But yeah, amazing, just bizarre to find it wrapped separately, just so it doesn't cause offense. But who are you protecting from the offense? The person who's ordered the film or the people packaging it? Anyway, weird. Anyway, another Russ Meyer film. We have Motor Psycho here, which is superb. Alex Rocco stars in there. He was a great actor. 1965, Russ Meyer, 60 years old. Another audio commentary here with Elizabeth Pachel. And I'm not sure if I've seen this one. I'm not sure if I've seen this one. But it played a part in just the rash of biker movies that came out in the late 60s, mid to late 60s. So many at the time. I do love a good biker movie. Ooh, yawning again. Radiance. I got a nice pair of films in from Radiance this week. We have the first film by Kelly Reichardt, surely one of Snips's favorite filmmakers right now. This goes back to 1994 and features in the lead role Larry Fessenden, who I love dearly. But yeah, this is A River of Grass, small town, Miami. Should be great. Never seen it, but I do like Kelly Reichardt films, and so do a lot of people, so that's great. The other film from Radiance is A Tale of Sorrow and Sadness, which is a film by Seijun Suzuki, which I think was the first film made after his, after being blacklisted by the film industry for a decade. And he came back with this one in 1977. So as A Tale of Sorrow and Sadness. Killer Cop is the latest Polizio Tesci film from Raro Video, released in partnership with Radiance Films. Killer Cop, do love a great Italian crime movie, and this one's directed by Luciano Ercoli. So I've never seen this film, so but you know, so many of the Aurora Video films do well, like Rulers of the City, which has just come back this week. Don't normally get the mainstream 4K UHD releases, but I couldn't resist this because it is a dual format, and I only have Tombstone in on DVD, and it's a classic film, isn't it? So Tombstone, the great film with Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer, is now in on both Blu-ray and 4K UHD, which is very cool indeed. Great Western. And finally, with the boutiques this week, we have a pair from Eureka. I have a film by Ringo Lam, which I'm quite intrigued on seeing. I did a Ringo Lam audio commentary a little while back on, would it have been Replicant? Yes, it would. So in the prep for doing the audio commentary on Replicant, I watched a load of Ringo Lam films I'd never seen before. Didn't get round to watching The Adventurers, as at the time of recording the audio commentary a few years back, it was fairly hard to come by. But now this is released on Blu-ray by Eureka. It's the last film he made before he went to Hollywood to make Maximum Risk with Van Damme. So yeah, looking forward to this, because I did enjoy seeing those early Ringo Lam films. I was kind of gutted at the time I didn't manage to see that one. But there it is. And finally, we have a double bill, a great double bill with the iconic filmmaker, the godfather of Hong Kong cinema, Chang Chia. The Magnificent Trio is double billed with the Magnificent Wanderers. Awesome. A great double bill of Shaw Brothers classics. There we go. That's a great stash for this week, isn't it? That's a great stash of new releases. I mean, wow. This week has cost a fortune to me. This last 2 weeks have kind of melted the bank account, but worth it, because we've got 2 slightly lighter weeks coming up, with it being the first 2 weeks in May. Next week in particular, there's only a handful of releases, including Honora, which I know many people are looking forward to. but yeah, I mean, you couldn't refuse any of these really. They're a good range of films. Okie dokie, let's move on swiftly to have a quick look at what's been renting out this week. And again, another busy week at Snips, another great variety of films renting out, lots of new customers coming over for the first time. And they're renting a real variety of films. Young Fallon, who you will have seen doing the 5 films, rented Ice Cream Man. He's off to see Clint Howard at a convention, I think, later in the year, so he's keen to see Ice Cream Man. It's great fun. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it's an excellent mid-90s horror movie, and Clint Howard, as always, does a great performance, as he invariably does. First time in a long time I've been asked for a Serbian film, but there it is. I'm not sure how readily available this is in the streaming world. I would guess not very would be the answer, but yeah, a remarkable film, if controversial. But yeah, the first time it's rented out for probably a good decade, to be honest. But that is a Serbian film. Wow, amazed. Ghost Ship rented out last night from Rebecca. She's doing a few bits in the horror writing world, and she was keen to take a look at this. I said to her at the time, I said, you know, the films that was a Ghost House. No, it wasn't. I forget. It was, who's that? Joel Silver. I'm sure it's Ghost House. But Joel Silver produced a load of horror films, didn't he, in the mid-noughties? He did 13 Ghosts, Ghost Ship, Gothica with Halle Berry, House on Haunted Hill. And even though they were kind of big-budget horror movies, I thought they were all pretty effective. And I think Ghost Ship might be my favorite of the ones that that production company made. Dark Castle. That was it, Dark Castle. I liked them. I liked them a lot. And yeah, I've seen that a few times, and I do love it. I love that first sequence. I just think it's great. So I'm excited for her to watch that. I think she'll really enjoy it. Customer came in last night, said that Battle Royale is one of their favorite films, that they love Asian cinema, something gritty and edgy. And I said, well, to be honest, I mean, I could point you in any direction, but The Chaser is one of my favorite gritty, edgy Asian cinema films. So I hope they like it. I recommended it to it. They took my recommendation, and yeah, I know you guys will probably have a different recommendation for, you know, what your go-to gritty Asian cinema release would be, but mine would be The Chaser. Feel free to comment on what yours would be, but I think that's a good place for this customer to go. Some really cool indie films have been rented out this week. The one that stands out to me is the Alexandra Rockwell film, In the Soup, which I love dearly because it's got 2 of my favorite actors in it, Seymour Cassel and also Steve Buscemi in one of his early roles. It's great fun. This is pre-Reservoir Dogs Buscemi, only just. But it's an excellent film, an excellent film. And of course, Alexandra Rockwell would work with Quentin Tarantino only a few years later on the film 4 Rooms, which is kind of unfairly maligned. I quite like a few aspects of that. The Fruit Machine got rented out. I was saying to the customer who rented it, Tom, that it's a perennial renter. I think with Network going bust, who put out this film, I think a Fruit Machine is quite a rarity now. It might be on the BFI website, maybe, but I can imagine a few people having a hard time getting hold of the Fruit Machine. But it's a great film, especially if you come from this part of the world in Merseyside. There's a big Merseyside connection to it. Obviously, Emile Charles, Craig Charles's brother, is in the lead role. But it's a very good film. Dick Pope, which we had a conversation about only an hour ago with the guys, is DP. The music is by Hans Zimmer, and it's directed by the great British filmmaker Philip Saville. Originally aired on ITV in September 1989. And finally, with the ones that I've rented out, I had another new customer in this week who has followed me on Instagram for quite some time. Interesting guy. He came over, young guy, 20s, he came over to rent silent films, which was a very happy surprise. You know, I've got a great range of silent cinema, mainly thanks, of course, to Eureka and the Masters of Cinema collection. But yeah, he said he's having so much difficulty trying to see silent cinema, access silent cinema, that he thought, well, there's only one thing for it, and that's to make the trip over to Wirral, over to Bebington, and go to Snips Movies. So he rented a couple, to be honest. There's a Bela Lugosi film he rented, and also The Most Dangerous Game. So yeah. Is it silent? That'd be funny if it wasn't silent. But you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant to see films like this rented out. But he kind of said, you know, silent cinema and early 30s cinema in general is so hard to come by. So to see him rent 2 films from the era was very, very heartwarming indeed. So they are this week's new additions. No, they're not. This week's rentals. He's falling apart at the seams. And we're going to go on quickly to see what's in the box. And again, it's a really varied week of arrivals, to be honest. I got a big box in from America, which is full of cool stuff. More Warner Archive stuff. A bit of a mix in this one with new and old. I've got the Thin Man movies on DVD, but it's one of those franchises that I really, really love. It's just, it's your go-to film you know, it's your go-to Sunday afternoon film franchise, isn't it? Just when you want something light and easy and funny and just fun. I love the Thin Man movies. So to have them in one collection, one thin slimline collection like that is fantastic. Every film on a different disc, and now on Blu-ray with 2 documentaries, 2 feature-length documentaries on this as well. What have we got? I forget what they're called, but yeah, some really interesting document. One on William Powell, I think, and one on Myrna Loy. But it's a great set. It's a great set. And speaking of William Powell, I couldn't resist this box set of his, which features 4 pre-code films featuring William Powell. He made 9 between 1931 and 1934 at Warner Brothers. This is 4 of them. We have The Road to Singapore, we have High Pressure, we have Private Detective 62, and The Key. That's great. William Powell at Warner Brothers, 4 of the 9 films that he made in the early 30s. Here's another. This was made slightly later though, wasn't it? Well, slightly later, 1935. It's called Rendezvous, and features Rosalind Russell in it as well. Intrigue, plot twists, and romantic jealousy drives this riveting World War I espionage thriller. And sticking with William Powell, we have The Ex-Mrs. Bradford, another one of this era, 1936, a playful murder mystery. Great stuff. So yeah, if you want some William Powell over at Snips, then yeah, you're in for a good time. What's that, 6? A dozen William Powell films in this week. Very cool indeed. Sticking with the classic era, I'm trying to fill in some of my blanks. Bowery Boys, I've only had 2 of their collections, 1 and 4, so I thought, well, let's continue those. I don't know if have you ever seen any Bowery Boys films before? They're really good fun. There's 12 films on each set, so there's 48 films altogether. Anyone fancy a marathon? And these are coming from 46, 47, right through to 55. But they're great. Leo Gorcey, Hunts Hall. I guess from that area, you either love those people or you hate them, but I find them hysterical. They're great fun. So yeah, another Bowery Boys collection. That's volume 2. Just got volume 3 to get, and that is on its way over here. once they get the new Warner Archive films in, because they're a little bit delayed. There's 5 Warner Archive releases this week, and I know 2 of them just haven't come in yet to the warehouse, which is the Complete Wacky Races collection, still waiting for that, and also the unbelievable blaxploitation film 3 The Hard Way. 2 great releases, and I don't really want to ship the lot without including those, so I'll hang fire. I know you've been keeping up with these. I've been getting in the Forbidden Hollywood collections, now up to volume 4, still a few to get, but this 4th collection, yes, has more William Powell. There's 2 William Powell films here in Lawyer Man and Jewel Robbery, and there's also a Kay Francis film in Man Wanted, and a Loretta Young film in They Call It Sin. These, I sound like a broken record, but these are such great, it's 14 William Powell films, but these are such great movies. Pre-code of course means it was prior to the Hays Code coming in, so less censorship, they could get away with a few more. But as it says on the back of the box, from the simply frank to the jaw-droppingly shocking, this forbidden foursome promises nights of delight. Fantastic, so cool. And some animation to finish the day. I know a few of you are renting out these Looney Tunes collections. We're up to Collectors 4 now, and we have a new collection coming in June. But yeah, this is Looney Tunes Collector's Choice 4, which brings together another load. Well, how much, you say? 3 hours worth of classic cartoons. Although, please abide by the warning on the back. This is intended for the adult collector only. It may not be suitable for children. Cartoons, not for kids, which is a little bit crazy. But these are great. These are so well restored, and they're absolutely hilarious. They're absolutely hilarious. So volume 4. Now I have 12 hours of classic Looney Tunes entertainment on Blu-ray. Also, finally, in this animated series from Hanna-Barbera from 1966/1967 is Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossible. The full series, all 18 episodes. I love these Warner Brothers animations, and with Hanna-Barbera, you've got the badge of quality, don't you? It's a badge of quality. So that is those. Cool. What's next? Well, I'm going to show you some Ozploitation, because we have Umbrella and we have Imprint. They're the 2 key Aussie distributors, and they're both doing incredible work at the moment. First up, we have from Imprint. They're doing TV Movie of the Week collections. I think there's 3 collections so far. I've got volume 1 here, volume 2 is on the way, volume 3 is out in a couple of months. They're great. For a long time, there's been an issue with getting TV movies onto home video. I think the rights are complicated to some degree, but Imprint finally are doing it, and it's great. I don't know, you kind of, you may scoff at TV movies as being a bit lighter and a bit more diluted than maybe other films, but these are great. I mean, I've seen one of this collection so far, and I loved it to bits. It was Bette Davis. I mean, Bette Davis, for God's sake. Scream Pretty Peggy. It was directed by the great director Gordon Hessler, and it was just a really, really great film. Bit of a had a psycho feel to it in many respects. But Bette Davis is, of course, playing the old bit of exploitation, and it's a great little movie. Great little movie, only 74 minutes. 2 that I haven't seen in this collection are Lloyd Bridges and Janet Leigh in The Deadly Dream. Which is great. And this one looks very interesting. It's Leonard Nimoy and Susan Hampshire in Baffled! Exclamation mark. A diabolical vision into a world of black magic. Tommy Kovac is a hard-nosed racing driver until a sudden supernatural vision causes a near-fatal crash. Sounds amazing. Stacked with special features. 2 versions, extended cut, theatrical cut, well, TV cut. great. That is Baffled, part of the Imprint television collection. TV movie of the week. Brilliant. Also, from Umbrella, we have in stock Ozploitation rarities. They're great. Again, it's similar to TV movie of the week. They've released 3 collections so far. Well, no, 2 collections. The 3rd collection is on its way, I think, next month, maybe. But they're great, and who doesn't love a dose of Ozploitation? We have Lady Stay Dead, which is the classic film from 1981, bit of a slasher sort of thing. Millionaire pop singer gets stalked. Yeah, stalk and slash. It's very good. It's very good. It builds, but it's good. But also, we have the final cut. Psychological thriller from the writer of Phantasm, not PH Phantasm. This is F Phantasm. Non-stop twists and turns and a violent, flesh-filled tale of voyeurism, pornography, snuff films, and complex human manipulation. Then we have Desolation Angels. Incredible. The rarest of Ozploitation gems. It was released in the US under the far more generic title Fair Game. Both bitumen-burning chases, a harrowing game of cat and mouse, and star turns from Kerry Mack and the alluring Karen West, Penthouse Pet of the Year 1980. And classic tracks from Cold Chisel. Also in the Ozploitation Rarities collection, we have Crosstalk, which looks like a bit of a high-tech, stylish blend of Hitchcock, Kubrick, and Italian giallo. Can't go wrong with that. Coda, Symphony of Evil, is heavily influenced by Hitchcock and John Carpenter's Halloween. And then the 13th Floor, which I'm halfway through, is an interesting one, really. Yeah, kind of supernatural vengeance about a kid that gets electrocuted and then haunts the an office block. But yeah, I mean, these Ozploitation rarities are fantastic. They're great fun, films that you will not have seen, and they're here, and they're available to rent. Similarly with these TV movies, just real different films that you could not get on any streaming service, and that's the point. The point is being different. Okay, still on what's in the box. Onto the also runs here, just the bits and bobs that have come in through the week. This one was asked for by Paul. I don't know why I missed it, but thankfully I managed to secure a copy because it's on the verge of going out of print, and that is Space Hunter, Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. Paul is currently on a bit of a fantasy 80s kick at the moment, so he asked for Space Hunter, and I was only too pleased to get it in stock. I'm glad. I don't know why I missed it. Another one of my Masters of Cinema oversights has come in today. Probably cost me the most because it's so out of print, and that is A Fistful of Dynamite by Sergio Leone. I don't know why Eureka didn't keep this in print. Bit of a shame. But anyway, so glad to have one because it's got 2 versions of the film on this disc and a host of very, very cool special features. So I'm really pleased to have that. Obviously, I've got the DVD in, but the Blu-ray for a Leone film is essential. So yeah, Fistful of Dynamite on Blu-ray, part of the Masters of Cinema collection. 2 new American releases that have just come out this week. We have Steve Barnett's Empire of the Dark. I don't know if you are aware of Steve Barnett. He only made 2 films in his career, The Aftermath in 1982 and Empire of the Dark in 1991. Very much a fantasy film. It was co-produced by Fred Olen Ray. One of those films that he's obviously taken years to produce and complete. It looks incredible on this VCI Blu-ray. There's loads of special features. He's sadly passed, but his kids have put together some special features. for this disc, and yeah, brilliant. It's a great film. It's so enjoyable. Bit of cheese, yes, but it's great fun. And if you like a bit of fantasy, a bit of action, a bit of homemade cinema, lots of miniatures, it's good fun. Richard Harrison is in it too. Also from Severin, in collaboration with Something Weird, we have The Pickup, which I've really been looking forward to getting. It's a film by Lee Frost, and it was thought lost for decades. But they recently found the original camera negative in a Paris vault, and it's been restored and uncut for the first time ever. In the film, we have the legendary John Alderman, great Gary Graver favorite, and you also have the bonus documentary, Mau Mau 66, with Dave Freeman, Frank Henenlotter, and Mike Rainey all taking part. So I'm taking that home tonight. That's my watch for this evening. Mentioned by a viewer, so thank you for that. I forget which one of you mentioned it. Devil's Express is now in stock. The put out on an old Code Red Blu-ray, now well out of print. It is a bizarre fusion of martial arts, blaxploitation, and horror. And where can you go wrong? Here we are, restored from the original camera negative. Superb. Can't wait to see this. Devil's Express, that one's from 1975, maybe? Yeah, very cool. This is a donation. Our friend Mark spotted a gap in my Fred Astaire section and said, well, I have a spare copy of the Barclays of Broadway. Would you like it? And I said, yes, please, Mark. There we go. Another recommendation. Ed came in and said, I've got there's a film I saw a trailer for back in the day. Can you get it in? Elliot Gould, isn't it? Elliot Gould? I will get that film in. Elliot Gould is an icon. And here it is, Dead Men Don't Die. It sounds incredible. It's from 1989, but there it is. And another film that was asked for by a customer that was only too pleased to get in. It is the British indie film Boston Kickout from, I think, 1996, starring John Sim and Mark Warren, directed by Paul Hills. So that will go in my British Millennium Era section at the front of the store. Pleased to have that. I remember that cover so vividly, to be honest. So yeah. So that's the also round. Just got a few more new arrivals to go through, a few more what's in the boxes, and then we can go into comments, and then I can let you go. I mean, this is just an unbelievable release from Synapse Films. I've been asked for this for a number of times by customers like Kat and other people. It is Blue Sunshine, the classic Jeff Lieberman film. What a release this is. Gorgeous hard box slip, another slip inside, big, thick, chunky case like that. Inside we have a 4K UHD, we have a Blu-ray, and we have a CD soundtrack as well. Poster, booklet, stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of special features. Wow. I mean, I had never seen this film before, but I saw it the weekend on 4K UHD. Looks amazing. It's a great film. It's a great film. I really did enjoy watching it. So yeah, from 1977, Blue Sunshine is now in stock on 4K UHD and Blu-ray. And finally, with this week's new arrivals, two from Film Masters. Now these aren't, Film Masters have two grades of releases. They have their limited, like bells and whistles collections, which are very good. We've had things like The Beast from the Haunted Cave and a lot of great Corman films, restored, remastered, lavished with special features. And those have their limited edition archive collection, where they only print about 1,500 or 2,000 copies of these. Quite niche. Well, what isn't niche? Quite niche releases. I think they might be on DVD-Rs. Sorry, Blu-ray-Rs. Are they? No, this is pressed. But these are good releases. This is Salt of the Earth, this first one. It centers on a workers' strike against a mining company in New Mexico. Powerful, persuasive drama from 1954. Includes a feature-length commentary by C. Courtney Joyner and co. Important film, important release. Only glad to get it in. They do release some amazing stuff. And this one looks particularly interesting. This is called Ginger in the Morning. Another commentary with C. Courtney Joyner and Amanda Reyes. It's a film from 1974 with Sissy Spacek. Between her performances in Badlands and Carrie. Fred Ward is in it too. Free-spirited hitchhiker befriends a middle-aged man. Yeah, Ginger in the Morning. Part of the archive collection from Film Masters. That's one of my favourite sections in the store, the Film Masters section. So good. So good. So yes, that is, thankfully for you, that is the end of the What's in the Box. Loads in. Got to put them all away tomorrow. But, I mean, wow. What a selection of films. Thankfully, next week, a lot quieter. But let's have a little look at the comments before we go. And what have we got? Oh. And only when it gets a bit brighter, the weather gets a bit warmer, you do tend to see a slight drop off in rentals. Obviously, people don't want to sit inside watching films all day long. Don't know why. But not yet. I mean, normally the first few weeks of the nice weather tend to hit hard. But so far, I haven't really seen much of a drop off. Maybe slightly, maybe 10%. But minimal indeed, to be honest. Okay, let's see what you've been talking about in the comment section. Rob Stringer, who was away in America. We're missing you, Rob. Playing keyboards with Britt Floyd. The Appointment. What a recommendation. See? That's why you are the primo video store guy, Dave. Well, thank you, Rob. And I'm not. It was just a lucky guess. But yeah, I recommended The Appointment last week to Matt, who just was in today filming a little mini documentary, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it. So that's all that matters. I was just pleased I could introduce him to a film that he hadn't seen before. So that's really good news that he got something out of it. Lee Marn says, if I lived near Stips, I can guarantee that I'd rent every single one of those Bomber the Jungle Boy movies. Well, 12 Bomber the Jungle Boy movies are now in stock and no one's rented them yet. Outrageous. Scolder22 says, very interesting Warner Archive arrivals. Yeah, I'd agree. I think I'm pretty much done with going back over the old Warner Archive films now. Just a smattering more needed that I've got in my basket. But generally speaking, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So I'll just be focusing on the new month-by-month releases, maybe 3 or 4 a month from now on in. Indie Phantom Silver Cinema says, BFI Flipside is another overlooked label. It is. It really is. Thankfully, it's taken off a bit now in the new place that I've moved it to. But yeah, I will totally take up your recommendation of The Appointment. You must. It's such a cool movie. Also, Indie Phantom Silver Cinema says, it's very special for me to hear that De Palma is doing well. He's been my favourite director for decades. He's doing very well. In fact, Matt, who is the running theme throughout this episode, has just rented Phantom of the Paradise only today. Only about an hour ago. And there we go. So, funnily enough, it's just come back in. It's just come back in about 2 days ago. And now it's back out on loan. Who'd have thought that in 2025, Phantom of the Paradise would be renting out repeatedly? Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that? Bizarre, isn't it? Bizarre. Ancient Slumber, glad to see some love for the Fourth War. Yeah, I still don't know who asked for it. But still, saw it back in the day and loved it. Shame it never got a proper UK disc release. It's madness, isn't it? You know, John Frankenheimer, great cast. Weird how these things turn out. Jonah Fish says, surprised to hear a Bucky Larson shout out. My friends and I rented that when it came out due to its 0% Rotten Tomatoes score, and we had a lot of fun with it. It's not a perfect film. It is not a perfect film. But it's a solid comedy, and Kevin Nealon's scenes as Bucky's roommate are hilarious. Like I said last week, I just love those SNL spin-offs, and Bucky Larson is one of my favorites. It's just it's a terrible film, but it's one I enjoy with great passion. Rico Segal, did Devil's Express arrive yet? Yes, Rico, there it is. Thank you for that recommendation. Without you mentioning that film, I would never have got it in, so I do appreciate that. And finally, new Mike Leigh on physical media. That will be something to seek out. Absolutely. I would have thought that it would have rented a bit more this week, the new Mike Leigh film. Not yet. It's gone out a couple of times, but I would have thought there'd be more buzz towards it. But I think with Mike Leigh films, I think they just rent out continually over a period of time. Like even his old films now still rent out pretty regularly, like Another Year and Mr. Turner, for example. Jake says Tito Ortiz is a former UFC world champion. Who knew? Jake knew. And the ex-husband of Jenna Jameson, a perfect asylum actor. Film Wolf says, hi Dave, do you feel what you get paid for your efforts on audio commentaries is equal to the energy you put into them? Or are you, nah, I'd almost do them for free? It's a tricky one, really. Probably, yeah. I mean, if nobody got paid for them, then I would do them for free. But everyone gets paid for them, so you may as well get paid for them too. And I mean, we have been fortunate with audio commentaries. We've earned probably somewhere in the region of 5 figures on audio commentary fees over the last 6 years, and that's good money. that pays for a few things, you know. It does take a bit of time. I mean, like I said last week, we've got 10 audio commentaries lined up at the moment. So each one, we're doing 2 before the end of June, so that they will take 3 weeks of prep each. So it's a good chunk of your time, especially when you're in here for 50 hours a week. You're going home and you really have one slot in the evening to watch a film. You've got all this great stuff coming in, and I'd kind of like to watch that, but I know I have to prep for these 2 audio commentaries, so that'll start in a couple of weeks, which is kind of annoying. But if I start early, I can do kind of 4 nights prep for the audio commentaries and then 3 nights chill time for some of this stuff. So it's just when you're kind of surprised with stuff that you've got a tight deadline and then you've got to really hammer it 7 nights a week. But, you know, with most of them, you get so much, you know, and especially with people like working with 88 films, there's so much flexibility there. You can kind of say, well, you know, is the end of June all right? And they'll say, nah, okay. So that's not too bad. But yeah, some of them, I mean, the thing is, for us, we only ever say yes to audio commentaries on films that we're passionate about, even Species 4. So we never do it as kind of a moneymaker. It's never something we'll say, oh, well, we'll do this one just because it's a few quid in the bank. It's always something, you know, we can't sleepwalk. We can't just daydream through these. We have to be passionate about the subject that we're talking about. It's so important. So yeah, I mean, there is the temptation that, well, it's like we've been approached by a company this week, a startup company, and they're on the verge of licensing some really interesting films, which are very close to our heart. And they've kind of said, well, would you be interested in doing audio commentaries for these films? And we're like, well, yes, because these films are personal to us. And because they're a startup, I don't presume that they could afford our fee. So then it will come to a discussion whereby they will say, well, look, this is what we can afford. And we'll say, well, to be honest, these films are so important to us. There's so much in our wheelhouse that we will happily, knock off, 50%, 75% of our fee just to have the privilege of speaking about these films and trying to tell people how much value there is within these works. So yeah, I think it varies. I think there's always been moments throughout the last 6 or 7 years doing these where we've done work for companies that haven't been able to afford what we normally get paid by the likes of Arrow and 88, and we've been doing stuff that we're passionate about. So we do bend, but yeah, just the time it takes, the prep it takes, the research it takes. I think the money is pretty much input. You have to get paid for stuff that you do. It's so important. Whatever walk of life you're in, whatever you do, it's important to be paid fairly, because it's your time, and if someone is benefiting from your services, then you should be compensated for that. And finally, Rise of the Phoenix says, why is it that your favorite picks of the week are limited to 8? Not 5, not 10. Such an odd number. Well, no, it's an even number. I like the number 8. Why 5? Why 10? Why so arbitrary? 5 and 8 is as arbitrary as 5 and 10. They're all just random numbers. You can have 7, you can have 13, you can have 17. 8's a good number. 8's a solid number. 8's a grrr. It's a fine number. I like 8s. I'm slightly obsessed with multiples of 4. So if things fall in multiples of 4, it kind of makes me happy. That's just a really strange admission that I probably shouldn't tell you. So it's probably the right time to end this now. But yeah, multiples of 4. It's a happy thing. It's a happy thing. 12. 16. Yeah, they make me happy. 7. Less so. 5 doesn't make me happy at all. So yeah, do what makes you happy. And if multiples of 4 make you happy, do it. Okay. I'm quite tired. I think I need food and water on this sweltering hot day in Merseyside. So I am going to take some stuff on board and think about tomorrow where I have to put all these films away and find space for them somehow. But we will do it. We'll do it together. And next week we'll be back with far less to talk about. Lucky you. Thank you for watching. Please comment below any thoughts, feelings, confessions about your obsessive counting. And we will talk. We'll convene next week in 7 days' time.